All right, so I'm kind of excited here. I got a great question. This is actually, I think, the first true diet-related question that I've gotten from anybody in either group that is in like an open forum where everybody can see it. So Trisha Miller asked me a question about my feelings on intermittent fasting, and specifically on the 5-2 method of intermittent fasting. 5-2 means 5 days of normal eating, 2 days of restrictions, 2 days where you're having like 500 to 600 calories total in those 2 days, where your other days are your normal, say, 1,800 to 2,500 range, depending on who you are and what your goals are. So I personally think intermittent fasting is not as bad as what people think. And many doctors and medical journals completely agree with that. They do. Intermittent fasting has a lot of different styles too. There's the 5-2 method that Trish is talking about. There's the 16-hour method. There's the 8-hour, 11-hour, 12-hour. So there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do this. The number one thing I want to say is each one of those different styles is going to be for a different type of person. For the person that can really restrict themselves and really hold that regiment throughout the day, the 16-hour way is going to get you your best results. Okay, and then, going down from there, 12-hour, 11-hour, 8-hour, each one of those are going to get you better results. The 5-2 way will also get you results. It's not going to get you results as quickly as, say, a 16-hour restriction does. And the reason being is that it's a little bit less invasive of a diet plan, of a nutrition plan, and how to burn calories and get the extra weight off your body. But they all work, okay? Just like a low-carb diet will also, it is a way of fasting. It's not a time period fasting. It's fasting from carbohydrates. Okay, so I want to make this make sense. When we fast, or when we starve our body of carbohydrates, what we're doing is we are essentially removing the first layer of attack. So think of yourself as, like I've said this a million times before, think of yourself as going into battle, except you're going to battle against the fat or that extra weight within your body that you're trying to get rid of. Carbohydrates, or food energy in general, is the first wall of defense that your body has to go through to get to those fat stores. This is why low-carb diets like the South Beach diet work. This is why diets like the 21-day diet with the portion control work, because you are in a caloric deficit and you are removing the first wall of defense. Okay, so when you remove that first wall of defense, now we start getting after what we're really after, right? Which is those fat stores, okay? Now we can really start making an impact and burning off that fat, that extra fat that's in our body, that lean muscle to fat ratio that's way off, like lean muscle's down here and fat ratio is way high. Well, as we fast and as we starve from carbohydrates, we're removing that wall, and now we start to change things. Now all of a sudden we're getting more balanced, and then before you know it, we've got way more lean muscle than we do fat, and that's because that first line of defense is nil. It is like not even existent or barely there. And when it's barely there, the first thing the body does is it attacks those energy sources and it burns that carbohydrate right off. It burns off any energy that you have in you from food right away, and it immediately goes to those fat stores. So yes, fasting is good. Yes, the 5-2 method, if you're the type of person that cannot make it through 8, 11, 12, 16 hours without food, the 5-2 method is good. There are a lot of myths out there that say, oh, it's not healthy, this, that, and the other. You should eat breakfast, this, that, and the other. Those are all myths. They are myths, okay? And if you don't believe me, you can go read medical journals. New England Medical Journal is absolutely the tops of the tops. And I'm actually going to post a video with Dr. Oz and another doctor, Dr. Mosley, who actually discuss all of this stuff and really give you some really good visuals of what I'm describing. And New England Medical Journal absolutely says that not only is not eating breakfast a myth, intermittent fasting as a danger is also a myth. It is a caloric restriction, okay? Where it becomes dangerous is in your mind. If you can't handle that restriction, you need to find a way to tweak it and look for alternative options. So maybe if you try fasting and you're struggling with it, right? Maybe that's not the way for you to go. Maybe you should be looking at a South Beach diet where you can eliminate carbs, continually eat, and don't have to worry about that, but you're still removing that first energy source, that first line of defense, that first protective wall against the fat stores, okay? For the intermittent fasters, you're really going to get results by doing this, okay? But You need to know what you're doing. You need to know when you're supposed to eat. There's specific times of the day, specific days of the week kind of thing. The way that it's set up for you to get those calories in and out of your body, and how you should be exercising in tandem with that to get maximum burn off and maximum results. Okay? So, yes, I like intermittent fasting, but I like intermittent fasting that is done correctly. So just to be very clear, intermittent fasting, there are people that go, well, I haven't eaten for 24 hours. That is not intermittent fasting. That is starvation. There are people who say, I haven't eaten in 72 hours. Guess what? I've done that. I have a guy that I used to work with. His name is Rob. I worked with him at insurance.com. And he said, man, John, you're doing great. I'll never forget the conversation we had. We're standing in the kitchen at our job. And he said, man, John, you're looking great, man. You're just dropping pounds like crazy. He's like, you look fantastic, man. You know, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing a lot of fasting and starvation kind of stuff. And he's like, starvation? What do you mean? And I said, today, for example, it's been 72 hours since I ate. Now, this was before I was a trainer. This is before I was doing everything 100% accurately, safely, with the right kind of knowledge base and protection against hurting myself. And I actually went 72 hours. Let me tell you something. That is not fasting. Okay, that is starvation. Okay, and I know it sounds crazy, but listen to me. There are men and women that do that kind of stuff all the time. It is not safe. It is not healthy. Intermittent fasting is a specific regimen that you are following exact guidelines, times of days of the week, you know, and you are monitoring it and following it to a T. Whereas starvation, like I was talking about, 72 hours without food, is just flat out saying, I'm going to force myself not to eat. That is not safe. Okay? So to make everything come to a nutshell here and make it make sense, if you want to get to those fat stores quicker, you have to create caloric deficit, and the more you can go without food during the day will allow those fat stores to burn off in your body. It doesn't have to go through the first wall of defense. So I hope that makes sense. If anybody has any questions, definitely post them. You know, I mean, it's exciting to get this kind of question. This is the stuff that I'm like pro at. You know what I'm saying? This is where it's more than just the working out. This is my forte. Okay, is losing that weight and how to shred yourself up and how to get all that excess body fat off of you and lean yourself out safely and effectively without taking 5 years to do it. Okay, you definitely can do this, as well as intermittent fasting is also great for people with type 2 diabetes. It is. So if you're a person who has type 2, or if you have family members who have type 2 diabetes, you need to really, really understand that I'm telling you that this is a beneficial thing for you, 100%. No questions asked. It will absolutely help you regulate blood sugar and get control of your life, as well as the disease of diabetes type 2, you know? So if you guys have any questions, post them in the comments. I definitely want to know if you have any questions about it. I will post a video here in a minute. Again, it's going to be with Dr. Oz and Dr. Mosley. Great information. It's 7 minutes long, but it really gives you a visual on everything that I just explained about getting through that first line of defense. Okay, you guys have an awesome day. You know, let me know if you have any more questions. I mean, seriously, this is where it's at, right? You know, ask, because, you know, this forum right here is a forum where I can give you free critical information that will help you. And then when it's time to begin that journey and really get that push that we need in the gym and all that stuff, that's when you come to me and say, John, I got an understanding of what I want to do with my type of dieting. I want to make sure that, you know, you agree with it. And if you do, let's get working on that stuff in the gym. I'm ready to work with you. I'm ready to do work. So you guys have an awesome day. And let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, take care.